everyone, and welcome to another Initiative Modeler. What you're going to see in this video has actually already been featured in the Batmobile build. It's the part 3 of the Dawn of Justice Batmobile. And it's just in case if anyone is interested in making a project like this, I thought it might be easier to find here as a separate posting in case you want to use it as a reference. Now the technique I'm going to be following here was inspired by a gentleman named Transition Modeler, so I'm actually using his technique and modifying that a little bit to create some of this battle damage. But you can find him on YouTube. Just check him out. He's got a tutorial on how to create asphalt surfaces as well. So a display base like this could be used for a couple different things, like displaying a car model. Or you could even use it to display your action figures. Now before we get started with the project, let me just run through a quick list of materials you're going to need for a project like this. First of all, you're going to need a 1/4 inch plywood. That's what I use for the wooden base. Also purchased these feet here, which I'll go into detail in the video. That helps the base look a little more finished. Underneath those, I install these rubber pads, which I found at a swap meet. You can find this stuff at Home Depot. You're going to need some pastels, and this is made by Alpha Color. These can be found inexpensively at Amazon or at art stores, and something like this will last you a long time. You're also going to need Tamiya weathering kit, which you can find online or at hobby stores as well. And for the asphalt, you'll need some cork, which you can find at Michael's. And for this stuff here, it's basically this ballast that you can find at a model train store or at hobby stores. They're basically used for model train dioramas. And as for paint, keep your costs down. You don't need anything expensive. Just use a flat black primer, which you can get at an auto parts store. And then you'll see that we also use craft paint as well. This stuff is very cheap to get. And I used a black color and a gray color. Alright, let's go ahead and get started with the project. One other thing to point out here, you see this little opening. This was particularly made again for my Batmobile. So if you haven't seen that video, the Batmobile has a little battery in it, and I didn't want the car to be tied just to the stand. I wanted to be able to display it elsewhere. So this opening allows me to slip the battery in and out and allow me to display the car on this and remove it. Alright, so let's go ahead and get started with the project now. Okay guys, I'm going to go ahead and move on to the base. I'm going to go ahead and build this before I show you the completed Batmobile. And so this is a piece I bought at Michael's. It's made by Revell, and it's a 1/4 inch by 12 by 24 birch plywood, as you can see on this label. And I've taken a power saw and cut it now down to 16 inches. And I'm attaching these feet here for the base with wood glue. And they're inset about 1/2 centimeter from each edge. And these feet you can buy at Michael's. Alright, so you can see the bottom is painted black, the feet are attached, the opposite side is the same, it's also painted black. The reason being is we're going to now simulate an asphalt surface. It's going to be cracked, and obviously the base will show through some of those cracks. We don't want it to be a wood color. Alright, so first of all, this is the cork I purchased from Michael's. You can see the dimensions there, and it's cheaper to buy this in a roll versus the pre-cut squares, which I didn't want pre-cut squares anyway. So here you can see it's now been trimmed to the same dimensions as our base. Okay guys, so this is the plan here, and so the car is going to be situated about right here at an angle, and so we're going to create a crack here with an opening right about there, another one right about here, and you can also see how this extra cork here that I've just kind of chopped up makes pretty good looking debris. So we're going to add some debris kind of all around the Batmobile as well. Okay guys, just wanted to show you one other thing that I added to the board, and that's this ballast stuff here that you can get for train dioramas. And the purpose for that is simply because you're going to see some openings between the cracks. I didn't want you to be able to see the wood, so rather than that we'll have a gravelly surface. So I'm going to paint this black as well. And this was simply added by using some Elmer's glue that was watered down, sprinkling the ballast over and allowing it to dry. Okay, so we've taken our cork and applied some black primer. The next step is to brush on some gray paint, so I'm using this craft paint here. And this is ash gray color, so it's medium gray. Okay, so we're just going to brush some of this on here, and you don't have to have full coverage. So you want to apply it in one direction here. Now after adding the gray, you actually don't want to let this dry too much. You want to go ahead and start adding the black. You don't even need to wash your brush. Guys, and this is how it's looking here, and when all said and done, it kind of is more of a dark gray color after layering and mixing some of the paints there. And you can see there's a little bit of gray speckled in between there. So it's actually looking pretty good. So next I want to do is apply some white striping on the edges here. And I'm going to do that by not so much brushing it, but taking a sponge and seeing how that looks. Okay, so the next thing to do is to apply the spray adhesive, and then we'll work on weathering it and adding some debris to the surface. And this is the adhesive that I use. This is by Krylon. I found this at Michael's. I used the high strength formula. It's sprayed on evenly. I applied it to the cork and then pressed the cork onto the wood base, and it adhered quickly. Okay, so I've made some debris here, and this is, I went ahead and cut a little bit more of an opening there to allow for the wire, but this is the piece that will fit in there. And I put some metal on the back side just to make it a little stiffer and easier to handle, so it just snaps right in like so. Alright, and so now what I think I need to do is to maybe add a little more dust and stuff here around the cracks and things, and we'll go from there. Now I apologize, I did not tape or record any of the detailing that I did with pastels, so I just wanted to quickly show you that. I do have other videos you can reference, some of my other model building videos like the original series Viper and the Millennium Falcon and so forth, so you can definitely take a look at those. But real quickly, using pastels is very simple to do. So I'm just going to go ahead and take this piece here, and we grinded up some pastels on some sandpaper, and it's just a matter of really just dusting it onto the surface like this in a pattern that you want, and you can see it creates this design like that. And then the Tamiya weathering kit is also easy to use. It comes with these applicators, but you can buy more at a cosmetic store or at CVS. My wife was able to get a hold of these, and you just dip it into the pigment that you want. It's really like a makeup kit for models, and you just apply it, and it will just allow you to apply darker streaks and so forth like this here. So if you want, blast points or something of that nature, you can just apply it just like that. And to hold this in place, of course, you'd have to apply some sort of coating. I used a matte coating that I purchased at Michael's as well. And you just want to put a very light coating. It's just going to help hold the pastels in place. And the matte finish I use for this, by the way, is this one here by Krylon, and I was able to find this at Michael's. Okay, and then this is the finished display stand here, and all I did was just take the damaged areas that you see here and just added some of this dusting and used the Tamiya weathering kit to accent that. And then the debris that you see here was just attached with hot glue. Alright, so there you go. Hopefully you found that helpful. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me here on my YouTube channel or at interstellarmodeler@gmail.com. And bear in mind, there are a lot of other things you can do with this display like this. You can certainly add more features like stone and maybe walls and those types of things. You can make that out of foam, insulation foam, for example, that you can find at Home Depot. There's a lot of other things, certainly styrofoam and other materials you can use. My advice, if you're interested in doing something like that, is search some other videos online here on YouTube. A number of people make displays like this for gaming pieces and gaming boards and those types of things. They make all kinds of things that I think would be really great displays for models as well. Alright, so thanks again for watching. I will see you then in the next video. Take care.